Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on our episode 25. Once again, welcome to this very, very important segment of travel updates with Tanvi Goel of Oz India Travels. And of course, today is a very, very important one because today, that big bubble that we've always been talking about is finally about to burst. So we will talk about all of that. So once again, welcome to the show, Tanvi.
Thank you so much, Umesh. Thank you, everyone. So, as Umesh just said, yes, today is going to be a very interesting topic, and I'll be going through with you all about that. So, before that, guys, please remember all these information we discussed today is general information only, as individual cases may change and government may change rule all this, anytime as well. So, please be yourself updated. And if you have any question, you can call us as well.
As and rightfully said that things change as we know. We had the snap lockdown, and then we had Easter. And good part was that we could see that even with the lockdown, people could make some travel arrangements and adapting to whatever could be done. Kept the economy local, right? Meaning that everyone had their holidays within their own estates because there's so much to see within the states as well. So it was good to see that people could adapt and adjust. But the big news, there's some things happening. I'll leave that up to you. So what are the main updates for this week?
So guys, yes, it's a big news. I'm sure you might have got that news already through Facebook, through friends, everywhere. But if not, let me tell you that yes, Australians can go to New Zealand now, and that's a quarantine-free travel. So you don't have to quarantine. There'll be a green lane where you can go through that green lane, and that's going to start from 9:59 p.m. AEST on Sunday, 18th of April. So there'll be a lot of flights. So to give you that idea, so Qantas and Jetstar came up and they're going to restart the Trans-Tasman flying between two-way bubbles, and they're planning to start 122 return flights per week. That means around 15 routes and offering around 52,000 seats each week. So from April and May, Jetstar said they're going to operate Melbourne to Auckland, Gold Coast to Auckland, Sydney to Auckland using their Airbus A320 aircraft. And also they're going to have some other aircraft too. And Virgin Australia, those said they are not planning to start until October 31st. But Air New Zealand said they're going to start flights as well between Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch and Queenstown, and also 8 of its Australian ports when the bubble begins. So it's really excellent news, guys. I got so many of you calls every other day and asking about the same. It's really, really fantastic news. Let me also tell you, under the new travel arrangements, passenger traveling from Australia to New Zealand will be able to book into green zone, and there are a few things which you need to know. So let me just go through that little list with you. So there will be no passengers on those flights who have come from anywhere but Australia in last 14 days. Crew will not be flown to any high-risk routes for the set of period of time. Passengers will need to provide comprehensive information on how they can be contacted while they are in New Zealand. They want to be able to travel if there are the cold and flu symptoms. When you fly, you will require to wear a mask on a flight. And passenger will also be asked to download the New Zealand COVID Tracer app while you are in New Zealand. On arrival, passenger will be taken to a green lane, like I mentioned there. So you won't be in a contact with any other international passengers who need isolation or quarantine facilities. And random temperature checks will be there as well. So that will be conducting for all the arriving passengers. New Zealand will also assess if they should continue that one, pause or suspend the green travel zone. Just remember that because Australia has positive cases previously. So please be ready for that as well. Be excited, but at the same time keep informed. And if a case is linked to a border worker in a quarantine facility or is contained, the travel expected to continue. but just remember that if there is any short lockdown, or if there is any kind of other more cases, then travel may suspend, they may pause for some time, though you probably won't lose your money, because in majority of cases airlines is covering you for that you can do a date change and do it a bit later. But yes, there is a possibility of that, so just keep that in mind. So people will need to plan for the possibility of travel being disrupted if there is an outbreak. So as of now, we don't have to worry about it, but definitely it's good to know and be planned and prepared that what can happen. But yes, excitement goes. So please be ready with that. So just in a couple of weeks, the New Zealand going to open. So that's really amazing news, guys. And also there is another update from Air New Zealand that in case you have bought their tickets before and you think that because of finances or because of other compassionate ground that you won't be able to travel, in this case, they are covering you guys and you can apply the refunds. They have opened the lines again. In fact, they have got certain or, some extra crew or extra people as well who are going to look after your, refund requests. So if you think you're not going to fly for next few months or for the rest of the year, feel free to apply the refund from Air New Zealand. So that's already started. Now, guys, also I want to tell you another exciting news since the New Zealand came up. The government is also thinking to really lift restriction to other Southeast Asian nations in next few months. So that's amazing news as well. So after New Zealand, there are 6 more nations are in line, which might open as well by the end of August. So like literally in next 4 months. So the first one after New Zealand is Singapore. So Singapore might open soon. And after that, Fiji, Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, and South Korea are in list as well, where they can establish the quarantine-free travel. So please keep that all in mind as well, that after New Zealand, you probably have to make some more holidays. And yes, of course, just, keep yourself updated, and we'll let you know as this progresses in next few months how it goes. But I'm sure after a few months I'll give you another good news that yes, another destination opens and one day everything else will open as well. So coming back to Australia, guys, so I just want to remind you all, like I did in last couple of weeks, that please don't forget that still the 50% domestic airfare, so 13 destinations in Australia is also still going on. So where you can go to 13 hotspots in Australia, where government is subsidizing 50% of the airfare, and that's already valid in, now up till 31st of July. So you can take those flights. And to refresh you again that what are the spots included, because some people I got call again asking that, what are the spots. So Gold Coast, Cairns, Whitsundays, Mackay, then Launceston, Devonport, Burnie, Broome, Avalon, Kangaroo Island, Alice Springs, Sunshine Coast, Merimbula. These are the main destinations. However, airlines said they might add some more destination a bit later, but at this stage, these are the ones. And please remember, these ones you can take only if you're going to different states. So if you are in the same state, you might not be able to get that particular scheme. So yes, think about that as well. And guys, next up, I want to go through with you about the Outback Queensland. They have just released their calendar for next 4 months, and there are so many exciting events coming up. Last year, they couldn't do much, but this time they come up with really amazing calendar. So I thought I'll just go through with you. So the next event they're planning is on May 13th to 16th of May. And that's especially for the music lovers like myself as well. I might plan some, but definitely I'll be giving you updates, so don't worry. So May 13th to 16th is the festival they have, that's called Music in Mulga. That's country music festival. It stays on a working ship and cattle station in Uloy. So that's the one on 13 to 16. Next one is on 19 May till 27th of May. That's called Regional Festival of Outback Opera, presented by Opera Queensland in partnership with Camerata, Queensland Chambers Orchestra, and the tour will visit the communities of Winson, Longreach, Barkentine, Blackall, and Windora. So these are the places where they're going to visit. Now, June 19 to July 25th is the Outback Queensland Masters is the name of the event. So Australia's most remote golf series, visiting the unique golf courses of Beulah, Charleville, Quilpie, Blackhall, Longreach, complete the $1 million hole actually in one challenge. So those who are golf lovers, this might really interest you well. Next one is June 25th till 3rd of July. They have Vision Splendid Outback Film Festival. That's in Winton. Winton, where you can go and visit that. July 6th to July 8th is a big red bash in Birdvale, Rocking the Simpson. That's the world's most remote music festival, which you can visit. And August 12 to August 15 is a Mount Asa Mines rodeo, the biggest and richest rodeo in the southern hemisphere. So these are the events coming up, guys, like 6 events which I just discussed. You might see in comments as well, or if you want to have more details, you can message us and we can email you more details as well. And next up, guys, is I got a bit of update from cruises as well. Like you can see, New Zealand opened up, and now 6 more nations are planning to open up. Then cruise won't be behind. So so we need to know that what all we need to do, and in order to prepare ourselves to for cruising and sailing and going around the world. So guys, the cruises, there are some cruises who came up, said you have to be vaccinated if you want to sail in one of the ships. So first one came up as a Windstar Cruises. They said you need to you have to do a vaccination before you sail any of the cruises. So cruise lines new Beyond Ordinary Care safety program they got. And also Riviera Travel, the River Cruises also said they want you to take the COVID vaccine. So in fact, they said they want you to take 2 COVID vaccine, so you can sail, and it will be safe for everyone else as well. And it's just not you guys; it's for the crew members as well. So they are putting additional, daily temperature checks for the crew members, those who are sailing as well, and also encouraging all the crew members to take the vaccine too. So everyone who is traveling, who is sailing, they all will be safe. So this is a new update. So if you're planning to take any of the cruises in next few months or whenever it opens up, make sure if you have not planned to take a vaccine yet, you might like to think now and get it done. And next up, guys, I also want to tell you that's really a very kind, one of the airlines came up with a donation, which I came across, and I thought I should tell you this news as well, because while you all know that all airlines and the whole travel industry is really suffering big time, where the Qatar Airways came up and announced a generous donation of $80,000 in funds towards the 2021 Good Friday appeal. The airline said it was supporting the annual charity drive to raise funds for the Children's Hospital in West Med. According to the Qatar Vice President, Asia Thomas, the donation provides an opportunity to the airlines to thank the local community after a tough year. So hopefully Qatar will be back again to taking people to India very soon. But it's really very kind of them to come up and giving some donation as well. So that's about it. The main updates, guys.
And that's wonderful, Tanvi. That's quite a lot of information that you have covered there in that segment, and it is good to see. The Outback was really interesting. Going to Winton, Charleville, and Bedsville. The remotest music festival. The ex-neighbor, when we used to live in the Grange, he used to be the one coordinating tours from here. So he'd organize the buzzers going, and he said to me, "Hey mate, you got to come up to Bedsville, one of the most remote areas." He said, "You love music, you come along," but never got a chance to do that. So yeah, he was doing that, and Winton, where the Qantas originated. So, you can go and see the original places. So those are some very, very good locations that you talked about there. And of course, getting onto those cruises and Qatar Airways, with that announcement, which is once again wonderful. So with all this in mind, what are the flight options from Brisbane at this point in time?
Okay, so Meshi, whoever flying now, guys, first of all, if you need to fly in emergency, just remember that now is the time that you can probably fly every couple of days as long as you have all the documents. Once again, I just want to remind because I was called by some people and who were confused. So if you're Australian citizen, you need to have OCI as well as travel exemption. If you are PR, you need to have an exemption, and if you are Indian passport holder, then you can just take next flight and go. Just remember, for all of you as well, you need to do a COVID test 72 hours before departure, and that's it. So as long as you have all that, I got you flight pretty much every 2 to 3 days. So from Brisbane, every Friday is a flight going. That's Emirates flight with one stop. They have 4.5 hours halt option and 16 hours halt option, so which you can take. And also we have got you Emirates flight as well every 2 days from Melbourne or Sydney, or we can connect you to any charters available in Australia. At this stage, I got 10th of April option, just couple of seats left because it's just flying day after tomorrow. And then I got 15th of April, 22nd of April, 29th of April, 14th April, 29th of May. So till May, pretty much you are covered so far. So there is no problem to fly from Brisbane at all at this stage, Meshi.
It is interesting to see that we have a flight going every Friday, the Emirates flights, as you mentioned. Well, I know we've come a long way from, just the charter flights to a regular once a week flight. So, that is, things are moving. Okay. So, that's got Brisbane covered, which is quite good. Now moving on to Sydney. So what are the flight options from Sydney at this point in time?
Okay, so from Sydney, guys, we have at least 2 flights going every week. That's an Emirates flight with one stop, or if you want to go any other date, we can send you via Melbourne or Perth as well. And if you want the charter flights, there are only 2 charter flights at stage. First is 17th of April, then 24th of April. So you might see that charter is kind of in a stage where they're going to close down very soon. So if you want to still have a convenient option and short halt options, then you might grab 17 April, 24th April. Otherwise, I got Emirates sorted for you at this stage.
Okay, so as you mentioned before that maybe with things getting slowly back to normal, the charter flights might be a thing of the past. And we hope that, in the best interest of everyone, that everyone does the right thing and that we can maintain that and move towards that. Well, of course, we can never leave our lucky Melbourne out, can we? So what's the update for Melbourne?
So from Melbourne, Umeshi, pretty much every week we got still charters available. Luckily, that's what I said. If people want to go from any other city, they have to go via Melbourne. And generally, charters, the benefit of charters are they are really short flights and, that easy to go as well. But if, on certain days people can't go, then they can always take Emirates. So let me read out the dates you have Melbourne, lucky Melbourne. So 10th of April, 15th of April, 22nd of April, 29th of April, 14th of May, 29th of May. So pretty much every 10 days, 7 to 10 days or till 14 days, you have one charter going from Melbourne. They all are Sri Lankan Airlines charter, guys. And also if you want to fly, you can fly in Emirates flight as well. Now Emirates also got 4.5 hours halt option, and also they have 16 hours halt option. But yeah, you are pretty covered, Melbourne. You can fly anytime from Melbourne.
Halt option is, the stopover, and you have some options there depending upon whether you are the Australian passport holder or Indian residents, PIO or OCI. Okay, so moving on now. Of course, after Melbourne, we want to cover whole of Australia. So, what's the status out of South Australia, say Adelaide?
Okay, so from Adelaide, Umeshi, we have one flight lease going directly per week as well. That's Emirates flight. And also if people want to go in any of the charters, we can send you via Melbourne or Sydney. So once again, dates are from 10th April till 29th of May. Or if you want to go in a charter, in Emirates flight with one stop, we can get you that as well.
So there you go. That's wonderful news from there as well. And now to Western Australia. What's the update from Perth?
So Perth, you were not left behind. We got you at least one Emirates flight per week as well. In fact, 2-3 flights are easily connected via Melbourne and Sydney. I'm talking about Emirates at this stage. And also, if you want to go in one of the charters, you can. However, sometimes, when we connect you to charters, they are a little bit longer hauled, and some people have to fly day before. So those who are in Perth, I'll probably recommend you to take one of the Emirates flight.
So Emirates flights would definitely be more advisable from there. So yeah, that is very, very good, and that's quite a good advice there as well. Well, of course, now people stuck in India, and of course we know that there are some groups as well, Facebook groups. So what is the update on the flights coming now from India to Australia?
So Maxi, luckily we have quite a few flights coming from India to Australia. Guys, I want to refresh you again that what options we basically have, because I received a lot of calls once again and people were asking what needs to be done. So there are 3 types of flights you can take from India. Once again, I'm reminding here. So number 1 is the government flights, that's Qantas or Air India. We have to register with DFAT, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. They shortlist you and they call you and you can book and come. That's number 1. Number 2, you can take private charter options from India. So private charter wise, they are Malaysian Airlines charter, right now available on 23rd of April and 30th of April. Or you can take Garuda Indonesia charter, that is on 26th of April. These are the only 3 charters available at this stage. And number 3, there are some reliable options where people coming from different countries. So these are the 3 main options which you can take. When you are choosing those flights, just remember, guys, since COVID is really increasing a lot in India, remember, all these flights are 100% non-refundable. So if you're planning to book any of those flights, then remember you have to keep yourself safe because you might lose a big money. And maybe any of the travel insurance companies not going to cover you on that as well. So, and also want to tell you guys, those who are in Melbourne, since the Victoria going to open the borders today on 8th of April, we might see there are some charters from India or some different routes might connect flights to Sydney, but as of now, or Melbourne. But as of now, we don't have any flight coming to Melbourne. So majority of passengers from India, we are bringing them to Perth. Then you quarantine in Perth for 14 days and then you take a next flight and you go home. Same thing for Sydney as well, because majority of charters are coming either from Delhi or Chennai to Perth or Adelaide, and third spot is Brisbane. So in majority of cases, you have option to do quarantine in Perth. But in case your flight is wherever basically your flight reaches, that's where you have to do quarantine. But in some cases, for example, the charter who is coming, which is coming on 26th of April, they're bringing flight from Delhi to Perth, then they're dropping people over there. And then from Perth, they're bringing passengers to Brisbane. So people have option to do the 14 days quarantine either in Perth or in Brisbane. Just remember one more thing, guys. Over here, I want to give you a little tip. Is that if you are going to Melbourne or you're going to Sydney and you think there is no direct flight, then there is no point coming to different destination in Australia. So best to take off in a first port of destination, first port of arrival in Australia. For example, if you think of 26th of April flight, you need to go to Melbourne. Better you take flight from Delhi to Perth and do a quarantine there rather than coming to Brisbane, because first of all, Brisbane or Queensland is a bit strict state. So I generally recommend people to do quarantine different states. And second thing, if you take one domestic flight from Perth to Brisbane, even though it's in provided by all charter companies, still you are paying extra money. So what's the point paying extra money while Brisbane is not your final destination? So because some people ask the same question, so I thought I'll just clarify here. But yes, and these ones keep changing. So if you're planning to come on any of those dates, make sure you book your flight fast as possible, because sometimes these flights stays for 24 hours or maximum 48 hours. After that, these all are gone. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, but there are many flights at this stage, though they are expensive, starting from 3,500, in some cases 3,000 as well. And for economy, it's going up to 4,500. And in case of business class, it's starting from 4,500, and then depends how many domestic flights you need to take. That might go up to $6,000 to $7,000 as well. So, but they are flights. If you have money, you can definitely come back at this stage.
So definitely, if you really need to get, there are ways and means. It will cost you a little bit more than what you normally pay, but you can travel. So, and it's a good point that you made about all the restrictions and all the things that people need to be mindful about. So that was talking about, the flights coming from India to Australia and the things that people need to be on the lookout if they're planning to make that trip or make that journey. Now, overall, people traveling at this point in time, so what are your travel tips for everyone during these times?
Basic, first of all, as I always say, and that's always my first line, that guys, please always check your latest rules and regulations, or check with any of your travel agent, whoever, wherever you're booking. Don't please assume yourself, because I keep checking, people every few days where, they kind of assume that they heard something last week and they feel it's not going to happen, but all of a sudden something else came up. So please check that latest rules and regulations, what's happening. And please, those who are flying from Australia, don't forget you have to fill the self-declaration form, that is mandatory. And also COVID test report needs to be done 72 hours before departure. Except these two things. If you don't have these two things, airlines or the charter flights, they are not going to let you board the flight. And those who are coming from India to Australia, guys, don't forget, there may be a state pass. For example, if you're coming to Perth, there is a G2G pass, which is required, and also the Australian declaration form required. And there is also a quarantine. Wherever you're going to quarantine, they ask you to fill that form. So these all forms and things needs to be done, and they are mandatory. So please keep check on those things, which is very important. And also want to mention you once again about the infant, that for infant, COVID test is really mandatory. And please note that sometimes people assume that if the infant is going, then bassinet is definitely going to be there. So guys, if you are taking charter flight, remember they might not be able to give you the bassinet for your child. So if you're flying in Emirates, especially from Australia, then you might have a bassinet. And in fact, if you need bassinet, book only Emirates. Don't book charters, because it's no point that you have a last minute shock that you're not going to get the bassinet. And guys, if you whatever we discussed today, if you think you're going to fly after May 29th, in June, July, or afterwards, you can always send an expression of interest, because we do send that to charter flights and airlines as well, that whenever people wants to fly. And same thing from India to Australia as well. So you can call us on 040-440-3264, or you can jump on our website, which is www.ausindiatravel.com.au. There is a section where you can submit your inquiry, and that will come as expression of interest. So we know that when you want to come back, and we can contact you whenever there is anything becomes available. Don't forget to check our 24 episodes. So you can check on Australian Indian Radio, Chantix Media, Brisbane Indian Times, Oz India Travel Facebook page or YouTube channels. You might find it anywhere and everywhere. And if you like this episode, please don't forget to share with your friends and families as well. These information might be very helpful to them too. So yeah, that's about it, guys. If you have any more question, feel free to call us. If I have already given you numbers, you can see on your screen as well. And you can check our reviews. And if you have traveled with us, please let us know how was your experience. And one more thing, guys, I want to mention here is seems in Delhi airport especially, they might ask you to do a COVID test again. So just remember that when you're flying from here, carry some cash with you. I know my client traveled 3 days back and reached to Delhi yesterday, and he was asked to pay 800 rupees and do the COVID test again. However, he was not stopped at the airport. He was just told that, just do a COVID test and go home, and we'll send you a report. But still, if you don't have some cash handy, it can be a little bit problematic for you. And they seems asking people on randomly basis, not everyone. So please don't get shocked at the time that you have to do a COVID test again, because this just a normal procedure seems they have been following from last few weeks. So just remember that as well. And that's about it. If you have any question, let us know.
Exactly. And if you have any questions, please do know. Well, Tanvi, how did I know that you'd announced that today we can start traveling to New Zealand? So see, I brought my passport with me.
That's amazing. I
Ready
think I
to
have to take
travel.
out my book it straight away. That's
No,
good.
wonderful. That's very good news, and all, of course, all those travel tips that have been said, and the point that Tanvi has made before is that please, even though the tips have been said, sometimes things might change. So keep up to date, and if you are in doubt, just pick up that phone or send us send Tanvi a message via the Facebook or Messenger or whatever means that you'd like, and she'll get back to you with that update. So once again, look at these reviews. They are wonderful reviews. And once again, Tanvi, thank you so much for sharing this information. And it's good to see slowly but surely our path to recovery.
Yeah. We are going to new more normal very, very soon.
It will be a new normal because we'll never get back to the normal.
Yeah. That's good. So thank you so much, guys. Really great to be with you again and come back to you next week. Stay happy and stay safe. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much.